What's up, everybody? I'm Scott,
I'm Jason.
and you are listening to Liquid Carnage. Did you just change your voice on that?
I did. I went a little bit more. Noreen heard the Blast podcast when I was editing it, and you know how I go, "I'm Jason." She says, "Wow, you sound like a little wimp." So I had to man
Wow.
up
So
and
you
say,
just tried to like puff up your chest right there?
"Yeah." I kind of held my breath while you did your intro, and I said, "I'm Jason."
I know. I was like, damn, are you like, who are you trying to fool after
I'm
four
hey,
years?
our listeners know that I can be a man and shit when I need to be.
Oh, no one's doubting the fact you can be a man and shit when you need to be, but changing your voice like that, I mean,
It was that obvious, huh? It was that obvious.
I mean, I don't pick up on a lot of things that fast, but I picked up on that pretty
Hey,
fast.
when your woman tells you that you're a wimp, that's not a good thing, man.
That's right. You man up. That's right,
That's
baby. I'm
right.
gonna
I
man up
man
for
up.
you.
I say, I'm a man. I'm gonna do it.
I'm a man, baby. I'm Jason.
I'm
I'm
Jason.
Jason.
I'm a man.
Goddammit.
I'm
That's
Jason. It
right.
rhymes with Perry Mason.
That's right. Let's not start rapping. So I take it things are good down for you in the great state of Maricopa County.
Well, we were having a problem with our swimming pool last week. For whatever reason, it turned crystal clear to just gunky. And I couldn't figure it out. So I finally told our pool guy, I said, I don't know what's going on, but this should not be happening. You guys just put chlorine in this pool. So all week last week before Thursday, we were, trying to clean it out, and we vacuumed it and we, cleared it all out. Well, then whatever they did on the last set of chemicals, it looks like an oasis, baby. I mean, we look like we're on vacation. Looks like we're in Grand Cayman in the ocean.
Oh, I
It is
know.
that clear.
It looks clear, man. I saw a picture of you posted over the weekend by Noreen, floating in the pool, the hat over your face, clearly trying to catch some sun. So
Yeah.
apparently, it was a very favorable weekend for you.
I think it's important to warn our listeners, though, that if you're going to look at the picture, please have your sunglasses ready because there is a lot of bright white on this boy.
Yes, there is. I was trying to be polite, but you can take
yeah.
the boy out of Alaska, but you cannot take the Alaska out of the boy.
Yeah. It was pretty obvious when I looked at the picture. And went, ooh, dang, man, I don't want to blind people.
Oh yeah. Well, look at that picture at your own warning. So that was a good weekend for you. Then your pool got fixed. You guys got to hang out by the house. You relaxing.
Yeah. The pool's fixed. Everything was good there. We celebrated. A friend of ours had a birthday celebration, so we did that, and then we both went back to work today and just kind of chilling like villains, and now we're ready for the next phase. So things are looking good. How about for you? How was your weekend?
It was great. I actually got to attend the wedding of some former guests of the show. A few might remember way back in season 1, we had our friend, then Miss Sky Nelson, talking about how are we Facebook official yet? Do you remember that episode?
One of our top 10.
It was chronicled to her and her now husband had just started dating, and she came on the show and was discussing how you move on from just casual dating to getting more serious and so on and so forth. And side note, sorry, that was my phone spa. My watch is done being sanitized, so before the EP rips us a new one, that was on my end.
Oh, okay. Well, I can live with that.
Yeah. So anyway, so Sky and Chris have been together for the last 3 years, and they were supposed to get married over Mother's Day weekend in Cancun, Mexico. And with the world being what it is, they could not get down to Mexico for this wedding. So some very close family friends put together a nice backyard wedding for him over the weekend, and it was an honor and a privilege to see Ms. Sky Nelson turn into Mrs. Sky Datamash over the weekend. So we're very happy for them. Congratulations, you two. We hope it's a very long, loving, happy marriage. So we were just happy to be a part of that and see that.
Wow. Congratulations to them. I can't believe it's been about, 2.5, 3 years?
3 years, man. It's like 2017.
Yeah. So they've been going. Wow. Congratulations. Yeah. Big shout out. We'll have to make sure that people comment on our Facebook feed. So
yeah. And I know I talked to Sky about coming on the show here in the next couple of weeks about trying to get married during this pandemic, but she had to get through finals because she is going to nursing school right now and then get through a wedding. So we'll try to get her on sometime in July.
Oh, okay. All right. That sounds good.
Yeah. That pretty much took up most of my weekend. It's a very interesting time right now, trying to live as normal of a life as you can. And the restrictions we have in the world, and it's becoming more and more difficult to see what's real and what's not real because of the media.
Well, and I think also our belief in the media or faith in the media too, because I saw in your guys' picture there weren't a lot of people wearing masks in your wedding pictures.
Oh, there
I
was
went
zero.
to a birthday party and there were zero masks being worn. So I think a lot of people just I think it's gotten to the point where I think people are just like, you know what, it's kind of like death, right? We know it's going to happen, but we can't just stop living our lives because we're afraid we might die. So we just got to live it, man. We got to live it and go out there and do what we can.
I think so, and I think it's a very interesting uh, commentary about the media. If you look over the last 3 weeks at how heavily COVID driven the news was, and then once the riots started, COVID basically went away, and the whole world turned to outrage and rioting. And now that that's dying down a little bit, they're trying to shift more back to the fear of COVID. And it's very interesting because I run a call center and for my place of employment for the COVID hotline, and over the last couple weeks, numbers really died off considerably once the media shifted to riot coverage. In fact, we joked that means our phone line that we were running would switch to a riot hotline to help people to make sure volume stayed up. But as the media has shifted, it's gone back to a heavier call base, which I think is very interesting to kind of watch and see.
Well, I don't know. I'm starting to wonder. Maybe you can, since you're in the industry, you might be able to know better. But it's almost like the first scare got over with, and now that people are, I think people are being safer about wearing masks in a social area, or making sure that they do social distance. So maybe it's just built into our mindset that we're just subconsciously making those choices to wear masks, stay self-distant. And so maybe, I mean, do you think that people are just, they're not as scared anymore because the newness of, oh my gosh, this scary disease is now over, and we're in a new world knowing that it's out there and just trying to be safe?
Yeah, I think that plays a big part of it. I think once the initial scare happened, we didn't know how to react. We didn't know what to expect. We didn't know anything about it, and the world basically came to a screeching halt. And it's interesting to watch because the social distancing, the wear mask, the don't go out unless you have to, wash your hands, cover your face. It really has died off. I think once people realized they couldn't go out, they couldn't do things. It was very much a very weird social apocalypse. I guess is the best way to really describe it. It was as close to a police state without having a police state that we could have, where we had a set of guidelines and rules we were supposed to follow, and to make sure we were going to follow those, the government mandated certain businesses shut down while other businesses thrive. And I think that's very interesting to sit and watch. We're very much, and some that are, and I'm in this boat that if I get it, I get it, man. But my life is gonna go on. I cannot sit here and live in fear. I'm not gonna go do the things I want to. I want to go do because I might catch this thing. I'm gonna bank on the fact that if I get it, I'll be one of the 80% that's just gonna have to stay home and recover and not be, hopefully in the hospital on a ventilator. That's the goal.
Do the numbers that are growing in Arizona, since it is one of the fastest growing states of COVID cases in the country right now, does that weigh in or give you any pause?
It's funny. I was talking to one of our senior leaders about this last week, and it's an interesting dichotomy to me because there's an increase in testing, and if you look at the numbers just raw, just here's the number and here's how fast it's climbing, it's really scary. Like I get it. I get why people are freaked the fuck out because if you just threw that number out there and you're saying we have on average 1,300 people a day in Arizona being tested positive for COVID, I mean that number adds up because we're only a state of about what, 8
I think
million,
7.5, yeah, total.
7.5, 8 million. So that's a numbers game, and I get all my information off the Arizona Department of Health Services website. So they do daily updates at 9 a.m. And you can drill down to how many infections per day, per county, and so on and so forth. So you have to really take a step back. And this is just for my own peace of mind. And you can take this with a grain of salt if you think I'm an idiot. But I look at the fact that where I live, Mojave County is mostly a rural state. We don't have people on top of each other. We have some fairly decent spacing. Kingman got hit early on because they got into some nursing homes, and that affected not only the residents but the employees and the employee families. And the same has happened in the hospital, where some hospital employees caught it, and that affected their families. And the same things happened all through Havasu and Bullhead. But the main difference is that down there is that's where California's going now, because California shut down. So if they're bringing it from California, they're spreading it down there. And realistically, Mojave County is only at our peak. At our peak, we have only had 25 cases in one day. So out of, was it 27,000, 30 some odd thousand cases in Arizona, we're like the 8th highest county in the state, behind Maricopa, Pima, Pinal, Yuma, Navajo, and Coconino County.
So let me ask this question. Do you wear a mask when you're out?
No.
So it's
no,
not.
I don't. And I know a lot of people say, well, it's showing respect for others. I don't believe that. I mean, it's stopping me from spreading it if I cough or if I sneeze. But if I'm not coughing or sneezing out in public, it shouldn't make a difference. Okay. Because unless you're wearing eye protection, and I'm not talking about glasses, I mean serious eye protection, if it's out there, it's still going to get in your eyes, and that's still going to be in your system. I vehemently disagree with people wearing gloves in grocery stores, because that just makes the problem worse. But you can't tell that to them because they don't understand the science of it. So, I get that some people think wearing a mask helps, but I don't see it. I don't go near people if I don't have to. I stay out of large groups like that. Even over the weekend at this wedding, I wasn't like right on top of anybody, having shots or doing weird things. I was, just doing my own thing, and I kept my own space.
Yeah.
But I think I do that right now, just out of my age.
Right. Yeah. Well, I read a story this weekend. They were talking about Texas is like growing really fast. I mean, they had like 10,000 cases just last week, new cases, and so they're growing pretty fast. And the governor has basically said, "Look, we're not shutting down the state again, so everyone is on their own for handling this the way they want to. If you're scared of it and want to stay inside, then that's your responsibility. If you're not scared of it and you're going out, and that's your responsibility." And so that's what Texas is saying. They're not going to.
And I kind of agree with that.
They're not going to close down.
I agree with that completely, because if you're afraid, fuck, man, don't go out. Don't go out. But don't hide behind it though either. And use that as a blanket excuse and contradict yourself though either. Because I know some people that do that, and that drives me batshit insane.
Yeah, I think the only thing I get frustrated with is people who just think it's some hoax put up by the liberal media to scare it. If you still think it's a hoax, I mean, what are these people dying of then? If it's a hoax, if it's a big hoax, I mean, they've had 2 million people who've gotten COVID. That's almost, now we're getting close to 1% of the population, dude. Like 1% of the population has gotten it. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're one of the 120,000 people who've died from it, your family is affected by it, And I just don't see how people can still say it's a hoax. It's just fake. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't understand they can say it's a hoax either. But being in the medical field, I have friends that are working in that unit, and one sent me a picture. I think I've mentioned this. She sent me a picture of a ventilator tube pulled out of somebody that got put on a ventilator, and normally those tubes are clear. And when they pulled out of this COVID patient, it was pitch black.
Wow.
And that's some scary shit.
And that's the thing, is even if that patient survives, they're going to be messed up going forward, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
it's going to take a long time for patients to recover. It's going to take,
you might have it for 2 weeks.
That
kind of damage was done though, right?
I can't imagine so. I mean, and that's it. I don't know how much damage is actually done. And it varies. It varies that, do you have pre-existing conditions? Are you affected by, how it treats your body? There's so many variables. It's hard to really say,
So you don't worry about getting someone else sick. Do you worry about getting sick?
I don't. I wash my hands. I stay away from people. I don't touch my face if I don't have to. I get my temperature checked twice a day at the hospital. So, I'm not worried about it. And if it gets me, it gets me. That's the thing. It's
Scott, if it kills you, I'm not going to be happy with that. If it gets me, it gets me. How do you know?
well,
How do
yeah,
you
but if
know
it,
that you don't have an underlying risk that would cause something to happen to you?
that's a very good point. I don't. But I could get hit by a bus tomorrow.
True.
So you're in the same risk of having to have Tom as my permanent replacement to make sure this stays liquid courage.
And sometimes I'm sure we've wondered what that would be like if it was just, I'm Tom and I'm Jason. It would be different, but we'd make it work.
Yeah, and it's not me. I'm not trying to say I'm trying to go out and go get it, but I'm not afraid of it. I was afraid of it back when I didn't understand it. But now that I've sat and I've watched and I've listened and I've seen how people are reacting to it, there's a lot of fear mongering by the media. And it really shows how much people buy into what you see on Facebook or what you see on the news stations. And it's taught me above and beyond anything else to do my own research and come to my own conclusions through independent news sources, not partial news services, as it were.
Have you thought about what you would change if you had the power right now to change the message, what you would tell people?
It's a good question. I think I tell them, mind your personal space, mind your social distancing.
Well,
man.
but wait a minute, the media says that. So what would you change to the media's message? Maybe that's the better question, because the media does.
What would I change the media's message?
Yeah, like what would you change?
I think it'd have to be one uniform message. Like we're in and that's out there. It's attempting to be out there that we're in this together. But the problem is, for everyone that says we're in this together, social distance. There's someone's out there that's saying, well, it's not real. And there's two very different news source types that are doing that.
Well, and I think the United States has kind of shown that we are kind of adverse to doing the background research of these kind of stories. You know what I mean? Like it's easier just to take the headline or the glorified 30-second snippet and keep that as our news, just because it's easy going to websites to figure out. You have a unique perspective and that provides to the date information all the time about where we are with COVID and what things that they're learning every day about the disease from a hospital standpoint.
Yeah, and I look at it, I'll take last weekend as a perfect example when we were having our protests all over the state. A lot of local residents here, from whatever Facebook feed they got, were convinced that Antifa was shipping busloads of people in here to help protest and riot into Kingman. And I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Doesn't it?
I mean, I don't.
Yeah, it seems odd that they would actually advertise that, because Kingman people would not be too happy if they knew that these people were
exactly. Like what backwood news feed on Facebook are you listening to? And sure shit, man, these people out here carrying AR-15s through our downtown, just hoping to protect, praying for peace, but ready for war. Shut the fuck up and sit down.
Hey,
you're gonna.
But those Antifa people
were gonna trip,
up, man.
They never did. But watching these people overreact. Oh my God, there's a purple ice cream truck going down that alley. There's no purple ice cream truck in town. What if it's Antifa? What if it's them? And
oh man,
I was sitting downtown. Yeah, I was sitting downtown with some friends, and we are just kind of watching this. And a car from out of state pulled up, and it was two gay gentlemen. They got out of the car. They went into this business, and I shit you not, we watched one of these guys walk over to the car and just check the license plate. Just seeing where they're from, seeing if they were going to start any shit. And it's like, this is the most, and you wonder why we have a bad reputation for being rednecks. It's like, God, you fucking people.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's like anything else. When you get scared and you don't know, you overreact to the extreme, right?
Yeah, and I get, it's better to be prepared just in case. But I mean, really, what are you trying? If you're literally marching up and down a street that you have no business interest in, except that it's part of your town, and you have an AR-15 and a handgun, you're not hoping for peace. You're hoping that you mistake someone so you can quote unquote back up the police.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and that's the biggest problem I have, because their whole attitude is, well, I'm just going to back up the police. It's like, I don't think the police asked for your help. I don't think you get to do that unless they say I have to deputize you for whatever reason right now. And I'm still not even sure that's a thing.
Well, I think we've seen what happened when people think they're going to be police officers and take the law into their own hands. I think we've seen some bad stuff recently that proves that's probably not the best approach, but that's just me. I don't know.
I get
don't
it.
know.
I get
Yeah,
it.
we are talking about planning a trip, and one of the things that we were talking about was maybe flying somewhere, and wearing a mask for 4 hours on a plane or 3 hours on a plane does not sound enjoyable. I'm going to be honest, doesn't
No.
sound enjoyable. But if we want to travel somewhere, we're probably going to have to do it.
Yeah. Well, our friend JP, he's driving his mom across the country to move to Florida this week, and he has to fly back.
Oh,
so he's got to have a mask and
yeah.
hand sanitizer. I did order a set of masks because I figure eventually we are going to have to wear them for a while, probably when the flu, become mandated, at least for my job for a while.
Oh, right.
So I ordered some Arizona Cardinal masks. I got a 3-pack, so I gave him one.
Oh, that was nice.
And some hand sanitizer too.
Wow,
so I figured I could help. I could
so
help
you
a little
do take
bit
it a little seriously. You're
Well, I've always kept hand sanitizer in my truck.
okay.
That's always been a thing for me, and ever since we ran out of it, now if I see some, I'll buy some just to make sure, because I don't ever want to be without again.
Right. Yeah.
And same with the disinfecting wipes and whatever else. I've got plenty of spray, whatever, but I want to make sure I had at least enough disinfecting wipes because they're so backed up trying to get that stuff back on the shelves. You almost have to buy it when you see it, even if you don't really need it yet.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
and when you have the extreme of I don't believe it, it's all a joke, it's all fake, to oh my gosh, I'm never leaving the house again until there's a cure for COVID. Everything in between is somewhere some responsibility is coming forward. So I'm kind of with you on Texas's approach of, you know what, I don't care if I go into a public place where everyone is not wearing a mask. I need to wear a mask if it's appropriate. If I don't feel comfortable, I need to leave. You know what I mean? I just need to leave and not be in there. It's just hard. It's just a hard adjustment still. But I think that, at least from what I've read, most states are not going to shut down again.
No, I don't think they can. I think we tried that. It didn't work. The world got revolted.
Wait a minute. It worked. The states that did it pretty ferociously are much smaller in number than the states that did not.
Because most of those states are still shut down.
Okay, but to say that it doesn't work is not accurate. It did work.
Okay, well, touche. It does work if you demand everybody stays in and whatnot. But I mean, now you start getting into civil liberties being impeded on.
What civil liberty? What civil liberty are you talking about?
Well, the right to go out and be in public and assemble and have all of those things that you can't do in Colorado or Washington yet.
That's one of the things I found interesting too, is these people get so upset when a business says, "Hey, you need to wear a mask when you come in here. You're violating my liberties, my first rights." Okay, that's fine. You're violating our store policy, so you can't come in. Bye.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't do that. Well, actually, I can, and I will. Now get the hell out of here before I have to slap you around a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that's basically it. I think it's okay for a little while, but there's a reason, like California, everyone is starting to come over to Arizona to go hang out and do stuff. You can't leave people inside for 4 and 5 months hoping this goes away.
Right.
Hoping this flattens it. Because clearly it's not, because California's on the rise too.
Yeah, I think though I think the one thing though is because I was talking with someone and I said, it may not have stopped it, but maybe what it did, our medical system in place to be a little bit more prepared.
I did buy some time for that.
Buy some time so that, because that was the real scare, is that, oh my gosh, our hospitals are going to get over inundated with cases faster than we can prepare. They gave them a month to kind of get prepared and situated. And, now I think that everyone is saying, well, it's still out there, but at least now we're better prepared for it.
Yeah, I think we all knew it's not going away. Well, no, it's coming back this winter. I mean, it's like the Spanish flu back in 1918, 1919. It's going to die out for the summer a little bit, but it's not going away. And when it gets cold again and the flu season hits and then this hits, it's going to get ugly.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the saddest part is, we can look at it and say, oh, it's not too bad, or, like this state isn't too bad. But anytime you see that there was a death from it, it's sad that someone's family, someone's life got ended because
That
of
is
this
true.
stupid thing. And you know, it scares me in Arizona a little bit because I do feel that you know, some people don't take it seriously, and even when some of the people do get sick, you know, healthy people get sick. I was sick. You know, I was pretty bad. It wasn't like, oh, I just got a fever and I feel better. You know, they were bedridden for a week or whatever. So, you know, it's not that it's not a serious thing.
No, I mean, I think for those that it affects, it can affect very seriously. But there's a lot of people who are just very mild too, so it's hard to get a range on how bad this thing really is.
Yeah.
So to kind of tie this conversation up into a nice little bow and put it to a different perspective, I read a very interesting article / conspiracy today that I'm going to share with you because I think this is a proper way to end this discussion in the show today.
Perfect.
So as most of you know, the Mayans predicted the world would end in 2012, December 21st, 2012.
Oh.
Remember this?
Oh, wow. We
Right?
passed that. Good. Okay.
Yeah, we passed this 8 years ago.
Cool.
Well, a archaeologist / scientist who studied the Aztec and Mayan culture realized that the way they kept a calendar is very much different than how the Gregorian calendar in time is kept, which is what we currently use. So once you factor in all of the extra days, or you remove the extra days and you remove the time and all this other stuff that we added on to make it work for us, their December 21st, 2012 would be June 21st, 2020.
Well,
which
that's
would be this
coming up.
coming Sunday. This would be that would be this Sunday, the summer solstice. We had a good run.
Wow.
Happy Father's Day.
I know.
So maybe
Happy
all
Father's
this is
Day.
all this is moot. Maybe we have 6 days left, and then the world finishes going to shit.
Man, if it does, it was a great ride, buddy. Liquid Carnage was a great ride.
That's
We
it,
took
man.
all the
Hey,
way
we're
to
going
the
out
end
in a
of
ball of
time.
fire.
We took it
right?
to the end of time. I mean, that's pretty significant.
That would make us timeless.
Yes, that's true. Right. Yeah. No, that's totally true. I get it. You know, and I always remember too, I went to a counselor one time and I was talking about splitting up with someone, and you know, I thought it was from till death do us part. Hey, death do us part could mean the death of a relationship. It doesn't have to mean the death of a person.
It's true. It's all semantics.
It's all semantics.
So
So
if the world's
you know,
coming to an
maybe
end
if
this
the
Sunday,
calendar was off, it's only because it was off because this is changing the way we look at life. You know, the death of the old life and the birth of a new one.
exactly. That's deep, my friend.
I know. Where's our pot and our psychedelics, man?
Right. Woo. So if this weekend is in fact the last weekend on Earth, hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, all at Liquid Carnage, and tell us what you're going to do on your last weekend. Now, remind you, it is Father's Day, so make sure you say Happy Father's Day to all those fathers out there, and leave your predictions as to what you're going to do and or your plans. If you want to give Tom some last minute plans for this weekend so he can go out in a blaze of glory in Denver, hit him up at liquid_EP on Twitter and Instagram.
Well said. Well, happy Father's Day, everybody. Great show. It's interesting. I love your insight as always. That was Scott. I'm Jason. And if you never know quite what to say, just have yourself some Liquid Carnage.